Hi, I'm Ruby, the podcast editor, and this is the NEP podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Okay, in this episode, we are talking about postgraduate experience. So today we are joined with Lucy, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Lucy. I'm the NEP paper editor and I am studying Behavioural Economics and Data Science Masters here at UEA.
So, as a master's student, how did you choose the masters over going into work?
So I wanted to do the masters because I studied my undergraduate in psychology, which is still quite broad, so doing a masters helped me to kind of narrow down what I wanted to do. And then I've always been sort of interested in data science, and then through psychology I did a bit more kind of behavioural insights work, and then that helped me to choose behavioural economics and data science.
Perfect. So, did you find a big step up between your undergrad and now obviously your postgrad?
So I would say that it's a bit more intense, like the day-to-day. Your final year undergrad, you have a lot less contact hours because you've got more sort of independent work to do on the dissertation, and also you have to maybe meet with more people, like your dissertation supervisor. So like the kind of day-to-day I'd say is a bit more relaxed, even though obviously quite a stressful time. So yeah, the master's day-to-day is a bit more intense. But in terms of the workload, I would say it's quite nice because we do our dissertation in the summer, so you can really just focus on the 3 modules and focus on learning like a new subject and new skills, and that kind of thing, and then you can sort of worry about the dissertation a bit later, whereas final year you kind of got lots of plates to keep spinning. So
and are the contact hours more during your masters than they were in your final year, or in a different proportion? How have you found that?
So I found that there's definitely more, I would say. I found that when I did my undergraduate, they were more kind of on just like a couple of days, whereas I think, whether it's just like the timetabling, I don't know, but this year I've got like something every day, and I'm also going to the library a lot more to kind of study, and yeah, I have tests now for the first time because I was sort of partially in a COVID year. So for psychology, which I did at UEA, we didn't have exams because of that. So then kind of coming to masters and being like, oh, the last time I did a test was like 7 years ago. How do I revise again? So it's more intense in the day-to-day, but I think the work is maybe just like different.
Yeah, different skill set, especially with the exams. You have to
Yeah.
you know, kind of embrace a previous skill set rather than just kind of the continuity from your undergrad.
Yeah.
So would you say then this master's is, you know, well preparing you for your future career and your, you know, job, the next step?
Yes, definitely. I'm kind of interested in like more data science, data analysis type roles, and obviously we learn data science because it's in the name, and the behavioural economics I think is quite attractive to like have on your CV. And for me personally, this course kind of legitimizes my like previous skills, because I have interest in data science, so I've been learning a lot on the side. So to have now like a degree with that in there it's going to be really useful, I think.
So in terms of continuing your masters, specifically, you know, you stayed at the same university. How did you feel when all your friends graduated and you were staying? You know, what kind of feelings did that bring you?
In my undergraduate, I did a placement year, so I already had a bit of like experience of kind of leaving university and then coming back again. And I guess, it can feel a bit sort of isolating, or like you used to going to school together and everybody's on the same page, and then suddenly people start going off to do different things. But I think just being like learning how to make friends, how to make new friends is also an important skill to have.
Definitely, yeah.
So I think just remembering to kind of be confident, and you can always make new friends.
Within that, at university you maybe move on campus the first year, stay with your friends for the remaining years. With your placement year and now your masters, and the interim of different people moving in different parts, what was your living situation like? Have you managed to find houses each year? How has it been for you?
First year I lived on campus, and then I started looking like around Christmas of my first year for somewhere to live, and I ended up living in like a student accommodation in the city centre. So it's a similar dynamic of you have your own room, your own bathroom, and there's 8 other people, and then you all share a kitchen together. So that was quite nice. I personally opted for that rather than a student house, because I felt like it was more secure. I think your front door doesn't open onto the street. You have security there. You have the reception that can help you with like maintenance costs. You don't have to really like manage a landlord, and also you sign a contract just with you rather than your group of friends. And if you all fall out or something happens, you could just close the door, lock it, and all your friends stay in their own room. So I decided to go for that route versus a student house. But because I was living in the city centre, a lot of my flatmates were from NUA, the Norwich University of Arts. So I was able to meet more students who, are at a different university, and they maybe do things a bit differently. And I still live in the same flat now, so it's been many years now.
Yeah, wow, you've been there for nearly 4 years now.
4 years, so it's been a long time. I did kind of struggle a bit because all of my friends from there did graduate last year, and then everybody moved out apart from me. So this year I have all new flatmates, and you have a lot of the worries about, are they going to be nice people? Are we going to kind of gel together? You get into kind of rhythms of how you organise like doing the bins, and are they going to do it the same way or not? So I think for me it's been I guess a good thing in a way, because it helps you to like build the skills of like talking to people and working with people, which can only help you.
Yeah. How's it like being in the city? Is it nice?
Yes, I like it. I like just walking 5 minutes to the centre, and then
Lovely.
I can do whatever I want. I come from like a very rural like sort of village in the north, where you have to drive like 15 minutes to get to the nearest like civilization, and I don't drive, which means I have to go beg my parents to drive me somewhere, which is quite lonely. So it's quite nice to just like walk out into Norwich, and
everything's accessible.
Yeah,
you've got it right there. And would you say after 4 years living in the city centre and also a year on campus, that Norwich feels like home now? Is it somewhere you look to stay when you graduate from your masters?
Yes, so I will be looking to stay here. Obviously it depends on if I can get a job. If I don't, I'll have to move back home. But it does really feel like home. I think at first it took a while. I would say it definitely wasn't like an instant thing. I think towards the start it was more like I live at home, and then sometimes I come to Norwich to study. But I think living in the centre and then doing things like placement, which that was kind of focused more on like Norfolk and also Norwich. So I was able to go with my placement team to like places that I just wouldn't have gone, because it's out of my way, and that kind of thing. So yeah, I would say now compared to the start, Norwich is definitely a home.
And finally, from a master's perspective, how have you found the financing? I know that master's financing is different to undergraduate in terms of the loans and the amount that you have to pay as well for the degree. So how have you managed that?
So for me, that was kind of a factor as well in staying on, because if you stay on with UEA, you get a 10% discount for staying on, and then if you get a first in your undergrad, it is even more off. So the finances that way kind of worked out about the same as my placement year. So the placement year, the maintenance loan was slightly reduced because a lot of people have paid placements, which mine wasn't, but that's fine. In terms of the loans, so with undergrad, it works where you have the tuition fee loan, which you don't really see that money, that goes over your head to the university, and then you get paid your maintenance loan from student finance. Whereas for the masters, it's just one loan, so you have to manage the money and then you have to send that money to the university. So it works a little bit differently, but the kind of numbers of how much the tuition cost and then how much would I have left over for the maintenance, that was the same as doing the placement year. So, and then there's many opportunities, I think, at the university and then also elsewhere to get like part-time jobs. Also the NEP, you can join the NEP. So throughout the first semester, there's been loads of like grad fairs and part-time work fairs where you can go and walk around and talk to people and apply, like get to know about what opportunities are out there, things like that.
How did you find when you started your masters? Obviously there would have been new people on your course. How was that experience?
So with the masters, you have like, before it starts properly, you have the first 2 weeks, which is a pre-sessional, and so there will be like many like students from many other like economics PGT courses, and you'll be all together and you'll study the same thing every day, you'll be in the same classes together, and then that will really help you. And also it's a lot smaller, your classmates will be much smaller than undergraduate. So undergraduate, there's potentially hundreds of people on your course, so it can be a bit daunting to make friends, but a lot of people I found on my course were international students, and so through them kind of not being used to like the university system or like not knowing where to go, that's quite a good in for you to start making friends. And also I think a lot of the students are slightly older, so they are they're more willing to kind of talk to people, and they find it much easier than say maybe I do. So you're split like into two groups. So I think if you're doing one of the more like academic courses like masters in economics, you'll be in one kind of pre-sessional, and then behavioural economics, data science. I think the majority of us in that pre-sessional are doing that course, but then there's a few people from other ones as well, and so then that allows you to kind of make friends with people from the different courses, and maybe you'll have like, I don't know, economic concepts all together, and so it's just through being in the same place at the same time, you kind of get to know people that way.
Yeah.
And yeah.
The pre-sessional was something that I wasn't aware of, but sounds really great for meeting new friends and new people, especially if you're with the same group of people for a 2-week period. You can really build connections and then take them through into your modules on your course. Yeah, so that's really nice. I'm glad you found that a positive experience.
Yes.
No, that is brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us to talk a little bit about the main points of the postgraduate experience and the most frequently asked questions. Good luck in the rest of your postgraduate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to this week's NEP podcast. This semester we have more podcasts around inclusive eco, some chats with lecturers, and exciting events such as the NEP volume being released, as well as the essay competition. Thank you for listening.